The Silent Mark. In the narrow, salt-crusted lanes of an old coastal town called Almara, where the sea whispered louder than the people, lived a man named Elias, who had never spoken of the night the sky opened above his roof. He was 34, a carpenter by trade, hands permanently scented with cedar and resin. To the neighbors, he was simply the quiet one, the one who fixed broken shutters without asking for much, who nodded politely at market gossip but never joined it, who disappeared into the hills at dawn and returned only when the sun had burned away the mist. No one knew that 7 years earlier, on a night when lightning should have split the clouds but didn't, Elias had knelt in his small attic room and felt something impossible, a presence that did not arrive with sound or light, but with weight. It pressed against his chest like an unseen hand, warm and ancient, and in that pressure came words that were not spoken aloud. "You are marked, not for glory visible to men, not for platforms or crowds. You carry a key that unlocks doors no one else can see. Keep this between you and heaven. Do not share this, not yet, not ever, unless I myself open your mouth." He had wept without knowing why. The words felt like a brand inside his ribs, painful, permanent, private. From that night forward, strange things began, but only he noticed them. The first was the dreams. Every third night, precisely, he walked through a vast library whose shelves stretched into stars. Books did not have titles, they had pulses. When he touched one, a single memory that was not his own flooded him. A child in a war-torn street who would one day lead peace talks. A woman dying alone who would be remembered in songs centuries later. A fisherman lost at sea whose final prayer would ripple outward and save 3 generations he never met. Each memory arrived with instructions. Speak one gentle sentence to this person tomorrow. Leave this coin on that windowsill. Place this feather where the wind will carry it. Small, invisible acts. No explanation, no reward promised. He obeyed. The second change was the way pain moved around him. Not that he never suffered, he did. A broken wrist from a fall off scaffolding, fevers that came without reason, the slow, grinding loneliness of watching friends marry, have children, build lives, while he remained alone with his secret. Yet whenever despair crept close enough to swallow him, something shifted. A stranger would appear with exactly the right words. A forgotten letter would surface with money he needed for rent. A storm would turn aside at the last moment, sparing the roof he had just repaired for an elderly widow. He began to understand. The mark was not protection from pain. It was proof that pain had been given a different assignment. Years passed. The town aged around him. Children he once carried on his shoulders now had children of their own. Whispers started. Elias never ages the way others do. His eyes hold too much light. He knows things before they happen. Some called him blessed. Others called him strange. A few called him cursed. One autumn evening, a young woman named Laila knocked on his door. She was 22, eyes red from crying, voice trembling. "You heard you're different. People say heaven talks to you. I need to know. My brother is dying. The doctors gave up. Is there anything you can do? Anything at all?" Elias felt the familiar pressure in his chest, the same pressure from 7 years ago. The words rose instantly. "Tell her the truth, but not the whole truth. Give her tomorrow. That is enough." He invited her inside, made tea, listened as she poured out her fear. Then he spoke quietly. "I cannot heal your brother with my hands, but heaven has not forgotten him. Tomorrow at dawn, go to the cliff path where the wild thyme grows. Pick 3 sprigs, place them under his pillow, speak his name 3 times to the rising sun, then wait." Laila stared at him, half in hope, half in disbelief. "That's all you're allowed to give me?" "That's all I'm allowed to give you." She left angry, returned 3 days later in tears of a different kind, tears of stunned gratitude. Her brother had awakened, fever broken, strength returning. The doctors called it a miracle they could not explain. Word spread. Soon others came, a mother whose daughter had stopped speaking after trauma, a fisherman whose nets came up empty for months, a boy who saw shadows that whispered terrible things. To each, Elias gave small, strange instructions. Plant this seed in moonlight. Whisper this phrase to the sea at midnight. Leave bread untouched on a certain stone. Small, invisible acts. No explanation, no reward promised. He obeyed. The next morning, a man in a dark coat appeared at Elias's door. Not from the town, his accent was from cities far away. His eyes were hungry. "We've heard about you, the quiet miracles, the invisible hand behind them. People are starting to talk about a new prophet. Join us. We can give you a stage, money, followers, protection. All you have to do is tell us how it works. Share the secret." Elias felt the mark burn inside his ribs like a warning bell. He shook his head. "There is no secret to share, only obedience in silence." The man smiled thinly. "Silence can be broken. Everyone has a price." That night, Elias did not sleep. He sat on the roof, staring at the stars, listening. The presence returned. In the shadowed embrace of Almara, a forgotten coastal town where the Arabian Sea crashed eternally against jagged cliffs like a heartbeat refusing to fade, lived Elias ibn Karim. The town itself was a relic of ancient trade routes, its streets winding like veins through sun-bleached stone houses, markets fragrant with spices and salted fish, and minarets that pierced the sky like silent sentinels. Amara's people were hardy souls, shaped by the relentless wind and the unpredictable tides, fishermen who braved storms for meager hauls, weavers who spun tales into their fabrics, and elders who gathered at dusk to recount legends of prophets and wanderers long gone. Elias was born under a stormy sky 34 years prior, the only child of a fisherman lost at sea and a mother who whispered prayers into the wind until her last breath. Orphaned young, he learned carpentry from an old mentor named Yusuf, whose gnarled hands taught him not just to shape wood, but to listen to its grain, to respect the hidden strength within fragile forms. Elias grew into a man of few words, his frame lean and weathered, eyes the color of deep ocean depths, eyes that seemed to hold storms of their own. He lived in a modest house perched on the town's edge, its attic room a sanctuary of solitude, where he mended tools by lamplight and pondered the vastness beyond the waves. It was on a night 7 years ago, when the moon hung low and heavy like a pendant of polished bone, that everything changed. No thunder heralded it, no visions of angels with flaming swords. Elias had been kneeling in prayer, his forehead pressed to the worn rug, when a warmth enveloped him, not from fire or fever, but from within, as if his very soul had ignited. It was a presence, vast and intimate, pressing against his chest with the weight of mountains, yet gentle as a father's hand. Words formed not in his ears, but in his spirit, clear as etched glass. "You are one of the chosen ones, marked not for the clamor of crowds or the crowns of kings, but for the quiet threads that weave the world's unseen tapestry. You carry a secret key, one that unlocks doors in the hearts of men, men's fractures in the fabric of fate.
Keep this secret completely between you and heaven. Do not share this, not with kin, not with kings, not even with the wind that carries whispers. Speak only when I open your mouth. Act only in the shadows where glory cannot follow." Tears streamed down his face, unbidden and unexplained. The mark burned into him, not on his skin, but deeper, a radiant scar on his soul that pulsed with every heartbeat. He collapsed onto the floor, trembling, as the presence withdrew, leaving him alone, yet forever altered. In the days that followed, doubt gnawed at him. Was it madness, a fever dream born of loneliness? But then the changes began, subtle at first, like the first drops of rain before a deluge. The dreams came every third night, as precise as the tides. In them, Elias wandered a boundless library suspended among the stars, its shelves glowing tomes. These were no ordinary books. They thrummed with life, each one a vessel of forgotten stories and future echoes. Touching one flooded him with visions, a young boy in a distant village who would grow to broker peace between warring tribes, but only if nudged from despair. An old widow whose final invention could save crops from blight if her spirit wasn't crushed by isolation. A sailor adrift whose survival would inspire a chain of kindnesses spanning generations. With each vision came an instruction, simple yet profound. Tomorrow, carve a small bird from olive wood and leave it on the doorstep of the baker's wife. Or whisper these 3 words, "Hope endures unseen," to the child playing by the well. Or bury this pebble at the crossroads under the full moon. No fanfare, no explanations. Elias obeyed without question, slipping through the town like a shadow, his acts invisible to all but heaven. As the years unfolded, the mark's influence deepened. Pain visited him often, a shattered ankle from a ladder slip during a roof repair, fevers that racked his body for days, the ache of isolation as friends like Jamal the fisherman married and built families, their laughter echoing from homes Elias would never have. Yet in these trials, the mark revealed its true nature. It wasn't a shield against suffering, it was a compass through it. When despair loomed, providence intervened. A passing merchant would offer herbs that eased his pain, unknowingly fulfilling a dream's directive from months prior. A storm that threatened to devour the town veered away at the last hour, sparing lives because Elias had once placed a lantern in a forgotten cave as instructed. The town began to notice, though they couldn't pinpoint why. Elias's work flourished subtly. Furniture he crafted seemed unbreakable. Homes he repaired with.
Then came Laila, on a crisp autumn evening when the wind carried the scent of impending rain. She was 22, a weaver's daughter with hair like midnight silk and eyes shadowed by grief. Her brother, Amir, lay dying from a wasting illness that baffled the healers, his body frail, his spirit flickering like a candle in the breeze. She pounded on Elias's door, her voice breaking. "They say you commune with the unseen, that miracles follow you like faithful dogs. Please, if heaven speaks to you, ask it for my brother. He's all I have left." The mark stirred within him, a warm pressure guiding his words. Give her Dawn's promise, no more. He brewed mint tea, sat her by the fire, and listened as she unraveled her tale, Amir's laughter once filling their home, now silenced by pain. When she finished, Elias spoke softly. "I am no healer, Laila, but heaven forgets no one. At dawn, climb the cliff path where wild thyme clings to the rocks. Pick 3 sprigs, fresh and green, place them under his pillow. Face the rising sun and speak his name thrice with all the love in your heart. Then wait, that is all I can offer." Her face twisted in frustration. "Time? Words to the sun? Is this a jest? My brother dies and you give me herbs?" "It is no jest," he replied, his eyes steady. "It is obedience." She stormed out, but desperation drove her to obey. 3 days later, she returned, collapsing at his feet in sobs of joy. Amir had stirred at sunrise, color returning to his cheeks, strength flooding back like a tide. The healers muttered of spontaneous recovery. Laila knew better. "How?" she whispered. "What are you?" Elias smiled faintly. "Just a carpenter. The rest is between heaven and those it touches." Word rippled through Almara like waves from a dropped stone. Soon a procession formed at his door. Fatima, whose daughter Sarah had withdrawn into silence after witnessing a shipwreck's horrors, begged for aid. Elias instructed, "Bake bread with rosemary and share it with 3 strangers at noon. Let Sarah knead the dough." Days later, Sarah spoke again, her voice unlocking like a rusted gate. Then came Karim, the fisherman, his nets barren for moons, family starving. "Tie a blue ribbon to your mast, sail at twilight, and sing the old lullaby your mother taught you." The next haul overflowed, fish gleaming like silver ingots. Even young Tariq, plagued by nightmares of whispering shadows that urged dark deeds, found relief. Carve a circle in the sand at midnight, place a white stone in its center, and walk away without looking back. The shadows fled. Each act deepened Elias's burden. Joy came in seeing lives mended, but the secret weighed heavier, a constant reminder of isolation. He longed for companionship, a wife to share quiet evenings, children to teach his craft. But the mark whispered, "Not yet. Your path is singular." Danger arrived with the outsiders. First, a scholar from the distant city of Baghdad, robes flowing like ink, eyes sharp as daggers. He arrived under cover of night, knocking insistently. Rumors reach even the libraries of the Caliph, a man in Almara who bends fate with whispers. "Share your knowledge. We can document it, spread it for the greater good." The mark burned hot. Silence. "I have no knowledge to share, only faith." The scholar left, but others followed. Merchants offering gold, priests seeking alliances, wanderers with veiled threats. One, a man named Reza with a scar twisting his lip, was the most persistent. He came repeatedly, his dark coat hiding intentions as black as night. "Join us," he urged one evening, voice oily. "We build a movement, prophets for the modern age, platforms, followers, power. Tell us the source of your gifts, the secret." The mark burned hot. Silence. "The secret is not mine to give. It belongs to heaven." Reza's smile chilled the air. "Secrets are like locks. They can be picked or broken." That night, Elias climbed to his roof, stars wheeling overhead like silent witnesses. The presence returned, not in words, but visions. A glowing scroll sealed within his chest, surrounded by snarling beasts with human eyes. They hunger for what is not theirs. Guard it, flee if you must. Dawn found him packing, a satchel of tools, bread, water. He left the town under cover of mist, walking the hill paths where goats grazed and wildflowers bloomed unseen. No farewell, no trace. Almara mourned his absence. Searches yielded nothing. Legends bloomed. Elias ascended on wings of light. He wandered as a holy nomad. He was a test from God, vanished when faith waned. His empty shop became a shrine of sorts, pilgrims leaving tokens. On the workbench, they found the unfinished box, wood smooth as silk, inscription faint. "Chosen ones, keep this secret completely between you and heaven. Do not share this." Inside, emptiness, or perhaps the echo of infinity.
Elias wandered for years, the mark guiding him through deserts and mountains, villages and ruins. He mended fences in forgotten hamlets, whispered instructions to the weary, watched as small acts rippled into vast changes, a war averted by a timely word, a famine eased by shared seeds. Loneliness was his companion, but purpose his anchor. In time, he encountered others like him, silent guardians, marked in their own ways. A healer in the sands who nodded knowingly, a poet in the valleys whose verses hid truths. They never spoke the secret, but recognition passed between them like shared breath. Ages later, when Elias's hair silvered and his steps slowed, he returned to Almara under a different name, unrecognized. The town had grown, but the sea still whispered. He watched descendants of those he helped thrive, their lives woven from threads he had spun in secret. On his final night, as stars mirrored the library of his dreams, the presence returned one last time. "Well done, faithful one. The key turns now to others." Elias smiled, closing his eyes. The secret remained sealed between him, heaven, and the quiet chorus of the chosen. And so it endures in shadows where true light dwells.